they can just stand in their own power and stand in their own confidence. And
hello and welcome to our Spotlight series. I'm your host, Carla Egan, and today we're talking to a coach who is passionate about helping women, particularly women that want to break through conditioning patterns to find their self-confidence and their self-worth. She's transformed many clients, taking them from anger and fear into confidence and knowing their self-worth. Our guest today is Skye Baxter from Heal, Grow, Thrive, which I think is an appropriately named business for what she does. And Skye joins us from Greenfields in Western Australia. Welcome, Skye.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Now, we're here today to talk about healing and how you approach this with your clients, which is really an important topic. So before we jump in, I'd like to ask you, why do you do what you do, Skye?
Well, I've always had a massive passion for helping people, and that's carried me through all my careers, all the way until now. But I think the real core reason to why I do what I do is because I come from an unsafe background. I come from a very toxic and abusive childhood, and I followed those patterns into my adult years. And it wasn't until I went on my own healing journey to break those patterns that I was then able to come into a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage, as well as, healthy parenting. And all of that sort of stuff. Suffering with PTSD, depression, and a severe anxiety disorder kept me very stuck and in a state of fear, and suffering from sexual, emotional, and physical abuse kept me very small. And that's why I have an amazing passion for helping these women, and especially women that have come out of similar environments, relationships, all of that sort of stuff. So they can just stand in their own power and stand in their own confidence and, just say, no, this is not right. Like, I deserve more.
I love that story about you wanting to pay it forward because you've already gone through that healing journey. And I think we still continue to heal, right? It's a lifelong learning that we're on. Yeah, I love your focus in helping women that have been in similar situations to you. So with women that might be listening to our podcast, might be watching our promo, how do you relate to them, Skye?
Well, I relate to them a lot of times with my education in that environment, as well as my own experience. So I come to them on their level. I don't come to them as pedestaling myself or talking down and saying, you need to do this. I come to them in a state of validation, and helping to teach them where their patterns are coming from, so they can have an amazing understanding of, why they're in the loops that they're in and how to come out of them.
You're picking up a couple of key words. You said patterns. And, I guess some of these patterns could be people would have awareness of these patterns, but perhaps not as well. So you just share a little bit of detail around your process in breaking through some of those patterns or these unconditional patterns that you focus on.
Yeah, definitely. So when I have clients join me and the process that I go through, the first and I feel like the most important is what I'll call a breakthrough or a detailed history. And my clients all get a list of questionnaires, like homework that they have to complete and bring back to me. And those questions are designed to for me to see their own sort of thought patterns, what they do day-to-day lives, where their confidence, where their beliefs may lie, what they think they are. And with, as I said, with my education and in language and how people come across, I'm able to really pick that apart and then relay that back to them and go, okay, cool, you've got, stored emotions here from this event. You've got, people pleasing mechanisms, and that tracks through how you were raised as a child. You have inner child wounding because of this event here. And that in itself, I've had so many clients come away from that within that first week and just have massive breakthroughs and massive realizations. And that has put them right on the path of, the coaching journey with me, and being able to have that self-awareness and openness to be able to clear all that stuff throughout the time that we are together.
Talking about your journey for a moment, and having gone through a number of experiences and breaking through some of those patterns, Skye, how did you come onto this journey of coaching? How did coaching help you overcome some of these challenges that you've experienced yourself?
Well, that's really interesting, because when I started my coaching journey, I was actually in fitness, and fitness is one of the starting points that helped me overcome my anxiety, as well as gave me an outlet for all the anger that I had stored up in my body to process and move that emotion through. And as I progressed on that journey, I went down the path of neuro-linguistic programming, as well as timeline therapy and hypnotherapy, because I've always had, an amazing passion for, as I said, what is not seen, what is not heard, what is unconscious. And that gave me a real insight to how people get into these cycles, patterns unconsciously without being aware of them, and being able to tap back into that side so that they are aware of them.
You're talking about the power of coaching, right?
Yeah, definitely.
There is a lot to be said for the power of coaching, and look, there's lots of coaches out there, Skye. So what makes you different? What makes you unique? What makes you stand out from some of the other coaches?
From what I feel makes me stand out is also the fact that I'm a neurodivergent. So I'm dyslexic, as well as sitting really high on the ADHD spectrum. And that means as well, I have an amazing, I don't know what you would call it, but I'm really good at decoding what is in people's minds and bringing it forth so they can understand it. But having those, labels, as we would call them, has given me such an amazing power to connect with people on a non-judgmental scale. So a lot of the feedback I have received from clients is that they can talk to me about anything, whether it's sort of like on the taboo scale or not. And I have just met them with love and non-judgment, and have just gone, okay, cool. This is what we're dealing with. Like, let's see how we can get out of it, rather than, they've gone to other people and have felt a little bit apprehensive about how much they can share due to, fear of being judged or all of that sort of stuff. That's like pretty much the feedback I've received from all of my clients.
When you talked about the coding, your ability to read people, made me think of the Matrix and all the code that comes
all the numbers.
through.
Yeah,
all the numbers, exactly.
People go, like, I've got so much stuff in my brain and I just don't know how to articulate it, and I'm just spit it out and I'll put it together for you.
Yeah, that's what it made me think of. Look, my last question to you, Skye, is what does joining the coaching directory mean for you and your business?
So joining the coaching directory, what it means for me and my business is an amazing opportunity to sort of branch out and grow my business. Being a small business in Western Australia, so having that amazing exposure to, have people get to know me a little bit, and then see if I can be the person that they're looking for.
Wonderful, and we love having you on the directory, especially in the niche, the specific field that you work in. So this brings us to the end of our Spotlight interview. So thank you, Skye, for shining the spotlight on an alternative approach to healing than the traditional ways out there.
No worries.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us and following our Spotlight series. If you want to learn more about this episode, you can find Skye from Heal, Grow, Thrive on the coaching directory. And if you enjoy our show, please rate and review us, and be sure to catch us on the next episode. This is Carla Egan from the coaching directory, where we connect you to your ideal coach.